James H. Meredith is formally enrolled at the University of Mississippi, ending one chapter in the federal government's efforts to desegregate the university. The town of Oxford is an armed camp, following riots that accompanied the registration of the first Negro in the university's 118-year history. Much of this film record was destroyed when our cameraman, Gordon Yoder, was attacked.
His goal was to put pressure on the Kennedy administration to enforce civil rights for African Americans.
Even as he talked, riots were breaking out in Oxford.
Americans are free and sure to disagree with the law, but not to disobey it.
Perfect. So guys, this is Mr. James Meredith today. So like I said at the outset of this video, if you live in America or you're planning to visit America, go shake this man's hands before he passes on. He is 90 years old this year. I'm going to continue with his bio. In what was the biggest civil rights march in Mississippi. So this is going to give you an idea of how large this march was, how important it was for African Americans, and I'm sure some white Americans as well. His popular song, one of his popular songs, is When a Child is Born. This is Africa, the cradle of mankind's birth, where powerful kingdoms arose with stories of worth. A youth-filled land, the youngest population, with diamonds and cocoa from its fertile foundation, exemplary leaders, their legacy told. Nkrumah, Mandela, their spirits bold. From Johnson Sirleaf's Liberia, where freedom lies, and her first female leader, so wise. Let courage and dreams unite as one for a brighter tomorrow where greatness is spawned. In this beautiful, colorful, and friendly domain, greatness awaits, where hopes shall not wane, where tales of triumph weave a tapestry. Welcome to Today in African History. John, popularly known as Johnny Royce Mathis, or Johnny Mathis for short, was born in Gilmer, Texas on September 30th, 1935. Mathis was also a star basketball player, a high jumper, and track and field athlete at George Washington High School in San Francisco. So this guy was multi-talented, is multi-talented, he's still alive. Mathis is the third best-selling artist of the 20th century, selling 360 million records worldwide. This is a guy who sang with the band Boney M, and his popular song, one of his popular songs, is When a Child is Born. I'm sure you recognize that tune. I'm not going to go on with the tune because obviously YouTube might pick it up and demonetize the video. But yeah, this is the Johnny Mathis who was born on this day in 1935. Multi-talented human being. So it's a happy birthday to Johnny Royce Mathis. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you live in America or are planning to visit the United States of America anytime soon, go look for this guy before he passes on. His name is James Howard Meredith. Now I'm going to show you two more pictures of this guy before this video ends so that you can identify the face. Go with this man, take pictures of him, shake his hands and tell him thank you. Again, his name is James Howard Meredith. He was born June 25th, 1933. He is an American civil rights activist, writer, political advisor, and United States Air Force veteran who became, in 1962, the first African American student admitted to the racially segregated University of Mississippi after the intervention of the federal government, an event that was a flashpoint in the civil rights movement. Inspired by President John F. Kennedy's inaugural address, Meredith decided to exercise his constitutional rights and apply to the University of Mississippi. His goal was to put pressure on the Kennedy administration to enforce civil rights for African Americans. The admission of Meredith ignited the Old Mississippi Riot of 1962, where Meredith's life was threatened and 31,000 American servicemen were required to quell the violence, the largest ever invocation of the Insurrection Act of 1807. So guys, this was September 30th, 1962. Listen to what President Kennedy had to say.
James H. Meredith is formally enrolled at the University of Mississippi, ending one chapter in the federal government's efforts to desegregate the university. The town of Oxford is an armed camp, following riots that accompanied the registration of the first Negro in the university's 118-year history. Much of this film record was destroyed when our cameraman, Gordon Yoder, was attacked, but he did salvage pictures of Governor Ross Barnett at the scene. The governor fought the court order long and bitterly before modifying his stand, saying Mississippi was overpowered by the federal government. President Kennedy appealed to the students and to the people of the state to comply peacefully with the law and bring the crisis to an end. Even as he talked, riots were breaking out in Oxford.
Americans are free and sure to disagree with the law, but not to disobey it.
Perfect.
For any government of laws and not of men, no man, however prominent or powerful, and no mob, however unruly or boisterous, is entitled to defy a court of law. If this country should ever reach the point where any man or group of men, by force or threat of force, could long deny the commands of our court and our Constitution, then no law would stand free from doubt. No judge would be sure of his writ, and no citizen would be safe from his neighbors.
Nearly 6,000 troops patrol Oxford to maintain order, and arrests mount to more than 200 as smaller disturbances erupt the next day. Former Major General Edwin Walker, who came here from his home in Texas, is put under arrest and held in high bail on charges of inciting insurrection. He was flown to a federal prison hospital as relative calm settled on the town in the greatest crisis the South has faced since the...
This is Mr. James Meredith today. So like I said at the outset of this video, if you live in America or you plan to visit America, go shake this man's hands before he passes on. He is 90 years old this year. I'm going to continue with his bio. In 1966, Meredith planned a solo 220-mile march against fear from Memphis, Tennessee. So this march was called the March Against Fear. So he planned this march against fear from Memphis, Tennessee to Jackson, Mississippi. He wanted to highlight continuing racism in the South and encourage voter registration after passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. He did not want major civil rights organizations involved. The second day, he was shot by a white gunman. So that picture that I showed you earlier was the aftermath of the shot or the shooting by this white gunman, and suffered numerous wounds. Leaders of major organizations vowed to complete the march in his name after he was taken to the hospital. While Meredith was recovering, more people from across the country became involved as marchers. He rejoined the march, and when Meredith and other leaders entered Jackson on June 26th, they were leading an estimated 15,000 marchers. in what was the biggest civil rights march in Mississippi. So this is going to give you an idea of how large this march was, how important it was for African Americans, and I'm sure some white Americans as well. So during the march, more than 4,000 African Americans registered to vote, and it was a catalyst to continued community organizing and additional registration. In 2002 and again in 2012, the University of Mississippi led year-long series of events to celebrate the 40th and 50th anniversaries of Meredith's integration of the institution. He was among numerous speakers invited to the campus, where a statue of him commemorates his role. So pictured here is the statue of James Meredith. So you can see it's not just African Americans or Africans there. You can see that there are European Americans there in the background as well, celebrating this great man, James Meredith, who is still alive at the time of recording this video. He's 90 years old. And again, I say to you guys, wherever you are in the world, whatever race you are, go shake this man's hands for not only helping African Americans or black people all over the world, but helping the entire world of all races of mankind to fight racism, to fight, what's that word now? Prejudice. You're prejudging people because of their skin color. And also, the fight against racism fed into women's rights as well. Fight against sexism. There were other things. People who have a different orientation in life, sexual orientation, for instance. Yes, a lot of us have religious beliefs, but is it an excuse to mistreat someone who has a different sexual orientation? Live and let live. Leave these people alone. Yeah, if you are religiously inclined, yes, you can go and preach to them at the right time, not bashing the Bible or the Quran on their heads, but talk to them with love. This is not the time to, this person doesn't think the way I think or do things the way I do them, so I should hate this person, I should injure this person, I should cause this person harm. No, that's not the way to live your life. Allow people be, it's a free world. Let people do what they want to do. So I said I was going to show you James Meredith's picture as a young man. So before this video ends, I'm going to show you his picture as a young man. So this is young James Meredith holding a newspaper which says "Also enroll, action blocked." I'm sure that says it all. I'm going to end this by saying the Lyceum Theatre, the Circle Historic District at the center of the campus, has been designated as a National Historic Landmark for these events. So for the events to commemorate 40th and 50th anniversaries of Meredith's integration of the institution. So guys, again, James Meredith, he should be celebrated and appreciated for what he did for us, especially as a black race. People who were at the forefront, who were not scared of standing up for what they believed in. We need more brave men and women today to do the same. One such modern day example is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She says it like it is. She says it exactly like it is. We need more brave men and women. The current president of Burkina Faso, that's another very brave man who says it as it is. You know the story. If you don't, go Google him up and find out what he has been up to over the last few months. There's so many other brave Africans and African Americans and black British people and black people from all over the world who are standing up for what it's like, right? They may not be in the limelight. They may be doing their own little courageous deeds in their communities. But, these people should be applauded. They are changing the world, not just for us, but for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Thanks for joining us once again. That is, if you are joining us once again. If you're here for the first time, this is what we do every single day, and we plan to do until the 30th of June 2024. We're just talking about our collective history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What can we do to move forward as Africans? And have we learned any lessons from our negative history? Have we learned any lessons from our positive history? Do we think that we can emulate what these great men and women who have gone before us have done? Is there any reason why we can't do the same today? They are human beings just like me and you. So don't go around in the world or live your life cowering in fear. Speak up your mind wherever you see injustice. Do not be scared. Think about your children, think about your grandchildren, think about those around you whose lives would be better just because you spoke up for the truth. Thanks for joining us once again. Have a fantastic day. Till tomorrow, hasta la vista.